Alright, so I don't have much planned out for this ramble, except that I know the first thing I want to say is, do I know any of you that live around Tulsa? Tulsa, Oklahoma. I want to know. Sometime around the 18th, 19th, 20th, or 21st, I'll probably be going through there for something. So, I just wanted to know if any of you wanted to hang out. Maybe have a beer. Maybe some fried mushrooms or whatever they fry in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Yeah. And then I'll be flying back to Colorado because I'm a delegate. So I'm not going to the Reason Rally because I have to go to my county convention. That's what's happening that day. And then pretty much all the other conventions are happening one after another through the next month. And let's see. On the 4th, I'm going to see Bill Nye the Science Guy. I already have all the tickets. Because all of my friends and family are going, this is what the tickets look like. Yay, tickets. Because I go to see people talk about science like some people go to see rock stars doing their thing. I've noticed that I'm not even really ancient yet, but I'd rather see someone with some intelligence speak than go to whatever is the latest fad, especially if it's Nickelback or Shinedown or Evanescence or all that shit. I really don't like those bands, really. They're close. They're like so close to me liking them. They've got the right tonal range and everything, but it's just too glossed over. They made me not like to go see rock music anymore. Until a band that is a little bit grittier comes to town, I don't want to go see it. Last night they had a band that it's Sublime with Rome. Now, the lead singer of Sublime died a long time ago, okay? And so now it's Sublime with Rome that is touring, and the other person on the bill was Everlast. And yeah, that's the kind of music that comes to Colorado Springs, And that was the big event. You couldn't park downtown. Speaking of parking, had to pay $3 in parking when I went to see Sam Harris. Here's the planner from it. This is all I have to show for me going to see Sam Harris and hearing that there is no such thing as free will, and we're all basically operating under determinism without the religious component, just products of our environment and nurture and nature, but in no way does our consciousness have anything to do with decision making. Our decisions are made before we even know they're made. Yeah, his book just came out. That would have been yesterday, March 6th. The book called Free Will, and this talk was called The Illusion of Free Will. Now, I have to go get that book and read it, but during the conversation with people who were asking questions at the end, somebody asked a question and he said, "Oh, you must be a Daniel Dennett fan." So I'm thinking maybe there's going to be like a rift afterwards between Daniel Dennett and Sam Harris. Maybe they're disagreeing so much that we're actually going to have like lively conversation with 2 of the remaining 3 Four Horsemen. Did I say that right? I think I said that right. Okay. But, yeah, it was wonderful to see Sam Harris and see him with the Pikes Peak Skeptic Society. And they bought out an entire row, and I bought my ticket from Kim because she bought out the entire row G. And I was just happy that they thought of me, you know. Kim is awesome. But Hans is the God Slayer. But anyways. Where was I? Parking, yes, downtown. I couldn't find a really good parking space downtown. So I ended up just going to like way down out of my way. What happened was there was a movement to once again start anew in the local Occupy movement, and I had been gone for 6 weeks. I had not gone to go really see them. I stopped February 4th to see their No War in Iran protest as compared to other No War in Iran protests, which were actually bigger than theirs. But other than just stopping to film something, I hadn't really like participated at all in like 6 weeks. And in that time, the group whittled down further and further, and there was buzzing online that they wanted a fresh start. So, being as the people that hijacked the Facebook page and became the de facto leaders by controlling the direction of the group, they started a new website. I decided that the website that I bought, originally, the original Occupy Colorado Springs website, I would archive it and shut it down so as to not create confusion, because although a lot of us went off to do our own things, you know, it's not right to, you know, just throw wrenches in what people are doing, you know. But when it came time that somebody, you know, started stirring, hey, we should think about trying to redirect the course, and I made a post on Facebook saying, hey, you know, you guys had a counter protest to their protest. Now, you guys can, you guys that are listening to me right now in this video, you can check out the YouTube channel Occupy Colorado, because that's where I've been sticking Occupy videos, because I don't want it cluttering up my main channel. And you can follow along here. They had a counter protest a couple days ago, and they had way more people at their counter protest than the original occupiers left. There was like 5 there, and you can see how they're like, as soon as they saw my camera come, they just tucked tail and ran, because they didn't want to be shown to be outnumbered by disgruntled, alienated Occupy protesters who were protesting against them. And this is a largely due to those people that hijacked the Facebook page are anti-military, you know, and we live in a military town. So the occupiers that were military didn't like the anti-military sentiments of some of the people. Anyways, I couldn't park downtown. It's Tuesday night. It's the vote night for Occupy Colorado Springs. And these are... Increasingly, I see these things as being so cartoonish, you know. It's... Does it really matter what night you vote? You know, do we have to say these things for a specific... I look at the last 4 or 5 months of my life, I'm like, wow. There's like Fred Flintstone in his Grand Poobah uniform in that episode, where he became the Grand Poobah of whatever that club was. And they had the big silly hat. Yeah. Anyways, couldn't find a good parking space for 15 minutes. And I ended up going up and down the streets. And finally, I just found a spot right on Acacia Park and parked there. And first we went to Cafe Corto, but and that being the default place where they hold their meetings, because they can in this very small coffee shop, because the personalities of the hijackers have driven everyone away from wanting to be a part of that group. So you've seen videos on my channel of Cafe Corto. Well, now they don't even fill up half the freaking room. So, anyways, found my parking spot, went to Cafe Corto, and the owners were shutting down because they were going to the Sublime concert with Rome. Sublime with Rome. So we waited to see if anyone else was going to show up who had those stirrings of this could be a fresh start. We just have to vote out, the people who drove everyone away. So we get there at the park, because the coffee shop was closed. We just figured, well, the park would naturally be the place to go back to. And they pass out these letters to me and a couple of other people. And some people wouldn't take them because, what they could be like court subpoenas or something. Some people don't, they're very leery of taking pieces of paper from people. But I took mine. And looks like this. And so what happened was, the people that knew that this was coming, that they had fucked up and alienated just about everyone in town from wanting to be a part of Occupy, they knew this was happening and they were about to lose their power. So they decided to devise a way to keep people from coming back and voting them out, right? So basically, all you have to do to get one of these pieces of paper from them that says that you can't vote in a movement that is supposed to be leaderless and is supposed to be all-inclusive and supposed to be a better form of democracy, you'll hear them shout all the time, this is what democracy looks like, right? Have any of you heard that? This is what democracy looks like. It gets shouted all. It's on my fucking channel like every March they do. So all you have to do is leave, not show up for a little while, tell people that you're disgruntled, and you get one of these pieces of paper. Now, I have a video on my channel from January. This is one of my Ramble videos where I say, I've had it. I'm gone. And then, with what happened to Kyle, I had another video where I chastise people for wanting to be illegal. So I get this piece of paper, and I'm going to leave a link in the description box. I will remember to put a link in the description box to a scanned copy of this, so that you guys can read along with me. Welcome back to Occupy Colorado Springs. We are heartened by your renewed interest in Occupy. Over the past months, OCS has adopted a standard of conduct shared by the Occupy Wall Street organizers. We indulge your patience as we reintegrate you into a much more formal organization. You are receiving this notice because your participation in OCS decision-making may be temporarily limited by a probationary period for the reasons checked below. You were observed, now here's the checks that are for me. Making statements publicly distancing yourself from Occupy. I did that. trying to undermine OCS online. Now, this is questionable because I would say all of my criticism was to help them. So, undermine, maybe not. I mean, the only reason I was there was to try to rid them of the cancer that was those few people left that were just sullying the name. And here's another check. It says violating other OCS standards of conduct, and then there's a blank, but it's not filled in. So it goes on to say, if true, these actions, which are very detrimental to the Occupy mission and an understanding, must be reached. Hold on. Let me start that sentence all over again. If true, these are actions which are very detrimental to the Occupy mission, and an understanding must be reached about their consequences. For the safety of OCS, until your case is resolved, you will be limited in your ability to vote, submit proposals, and participate in sensitive committee work, depending on the ongoing mediation. Naturally, we are all hopeful that you are brought fully on board as soon as possible. Please contact the Arbitration Committee to arrange a personal meeting to explore the remedies at hand. Begin by emailing arbitration@occupyseasprings.org. If you are new or a returning member in good standing, please acquaint yourself with the OWS guidelines which OCS may have developed in your absence. For example, all voting is by consensus now, not by majority, and the right to vote at GA is likewise conferred by consensus upon participants being recognized by their peers to have an authentic interest in the OWS movement. Thank you. Now let's occupy. Now basically what this says is, because the 3 or 4 people that got together and said, hey, we're the last ones left on the island, we've scared everyone else away. They put into place these policies here, right? And this piece of paper, condescending as it starts out, they actually treat this as it's serious. To me, in my head, I was like, God damn, this is about as serious as a clown car pulling up, and when the clowns get out, they start farting bubbles. This is fucking hilarious. We are heartened by your renewed interest in what the fuck, How fucking disconnected from reality is the person that fucking wrote this? I have no fucking idea. We indulge your patience as we reintegrate you. How fucking condescending can you be when you're fucking disenfranchising people? This is not what democracy looks like. This is what disenfranchisement looks like. So, yeah. The people who were left, those 4, they put in policies that basically say, we can now choose who can vote anymore. If people come and they're brand new, they don't get to vote yet. They don't get to vote on anything until we say so by consensus. And if one person holds out, just one, that's not a consensus. So let's say somebody sees a whole bunch of people wanting to return to the movement to vote him out because he's been a dick. All he has to do is say, I don't agree that they can vote. Yeah, it's, wow. Anyways, that was the beginning of that General Assembly, and I put the entire 2-hour film when I got home. My battery cut out like 5 minutes before the end. You didn't miss much. You can go to the Occupy Colorado channel and you can see the entire fucking thing. It's if you guys see me not responding to very little tiny dramas, here, or you think that these tiny dramas to me are like really big dramas to you, and you think that I should be responding to this shit. I want you to know that my measuring stick of fucking drama is so much fucking bigger after Occupy. The infighting at Occupy, wow, it's so fucking hilariously crazy. Really. And you watch that video on the Occupy Colorado channel. I'll leave a link to that in the description too, if you want to see it. It's 2 hours long, and I sat there and waited and listened to other people air their grievances about why they wanted to get rid of the people that were still, in place and had scared everyone away with their anti-war things and their illegal leanings, we'll say. I'm not going to say they did anything illegal, but, I can point to where they have endorsed things that are illegal, and only publicly do they not endorse these things. I can show you publicly where they try to distance themselves from illegal things, like on news stories where they're being interviewed, but then in blog posts other places I can show you where they're praising the burning in Barcelona by protesters basically torching the entire city. That was in 2005. So these people scared people away. Plus they have shit for personalities. And the only thing that these people were gathered to do when this General Assembly came together, besides the 4 or 5 that were, had been hanging around for the last month and a half, the only thing that the majority of people were there to do was to try to oust the people who were ruining the name of Occupy Colorado Springs. That's it. And I told them as much, that if this ruling group stays in place, none of these people are coming back. There is no second chance for this. This is a last-ditch effort to try to reboot. And we failed. Mostly because you can't force people to log into their Facebook and change things and give up power. And, some people are power hungry. And this is their only claim to fame. I can go off, start a voter registration drive. I can have my YouTube channel as an outlet and have now 1,400 subscribers. Thank you very much, everyone who subscribed to me. I'm back up to 1,400 after losing 89 with the whole YouTube cleansing, the purging of dead accounts. So I'm back up there. Anyways, I've got shit to do. It's kind of like when the infighting started over who was admins of what and who was on what permit and signed for what permit 3 months ago, in that I can film my videos and feel like I'm contributing, but some people on their own, they have no fucking talents, so they just naturally want to grab that power position, whatever position it is, because they actually have no fucking talents to actually contribute. I don't fucking care if I'm adminning a website or adminning a Facebook page. I've got shit that I can contribute anyway. And when you have people who feel like there's something that they want to do, but they see other people doing the things that they want to do, they want to grab that spot from them. So I think Occupy, for decades to come, will be a case study in how to not structure a movement. If you're starting a movement, it will be, pored over by social psychologists and sociologists for fucking decades, because this was a fucking clusterfuck of trying to herd cats. It really has been. And at times, it gets really fucking hilarious. Really. This is comedy gold. Link in the description box for that. So yeah. I think it's also easier on me to see this movement stay in their hands because I actually have other things to do. You know, there are some people who are very depressed right now and very dejected because they saw their movement fail, you know. And to me, if the label Occupy fails, that's not as important as if people were to stop doing what they're doing to make change in the world for the better of humanity. You know, as long as people keep doing that, I don't fucking care what you call it. I don't care if the club has the same name or the same people running it. I really don't, because I will go off and I will do some good for fucking humanity. And if you go to the original website that I bought for them, with money that I raised for you guys, there is a message that warns people of the dickish things that have been done by the people who are running that group now. This is not democracy, this is disenfranchisement and all that. And it points people to other existing groups that are much better organized and worthy of the efforts of an activist who just doesn't have his place, his cause yet. These places actually need help. So we've made a list of, you know, places for people to go, and hopefully, you know, it is springtime already and it's warming up, and it's going to snow tomorrow here, but you know, by spring break and by summertime, people will be able to look at that website as a warning and also just a recommendation of, look at all these wonderful things you could be doing instead of hating on soldiers, possibly burning Bibles in front of Fort Carson, you know, instead of planning to overthrow the government by means of reading the Anarchist Cookbook or any fucking derivative work thereof, and just all sorts of shit like that. You don't need to be doing that. There's wonderful groups that you can join that actually fucking make a difference, you know? So that's what we've done with the website after what happened at the meeting, at that General Assembly meeting, which was basically, wow. That was like my drama measuring stick just fucking going like Pinocchio's nose. Just. And for those of you that watch my Ramble videos in order to have an hour-long thing to watch while you're playing video games, bonus time, you get another 2 hours of some of the weirdest fucking drama that you will ever see or hear, in your case, because you're playing World of Warcraft or something. I love drinking Coke and wearing a Mountain Dew t-shirt. I gotta go to Sam's tomorrow. Pick me up a cube. Yeah, where was I? So, I've got this notepad right here, and I've got these things that we were going to. I had me and a friend here. He took dictation, so I'm going to have to read his bad handwriting. Before we went to this meeting, we had ideas for how we could help liberate the Occupy movement from these fucktards that took it over by hijacking the fucking Facebook page and think that they're doing good by it, but they're actually just scaring everyone away from going down and joining them. So, first thing that we had that we were going to propose, we put one thing per page. I'm going to rip them out of here because it doesn't fucking matter anymore. But these were things that they were ideas that we might propose, but we weren't sure that we were going to propose. We were going to go down there and get a temperature check, and then when we got there, it was basically way different than we even thought it would be. Because what happened was, these people expected that with a mob that comes to try to vote out the established fucking cronies that are all protecting each other, with that mentality, they figured, oh, people are going to show up. We can actually, like, talk to them, change their minds, and then we'll all be a unified group again. Right? They were laying in wait, and two of the people that weren't actually part of that, circle of evil, I'll call it, they actually added to the diffusing of the reboot by saying, can't we all just work together? And I'm like, no, we fucking can't, because we can't vote. This isn't even fucking Occupy anymore. This is a fucking cartoon. This is like... Anyways. Going into this thing, Ryan and I, his channel is Lucky Dog 1351, if you guys want to check him out. In fact, right after this, I will post a video of him so that you guys know what he's like. He's my favorite Christian friend right now. Real life Christian friend, not YouTube Christian friend. So, the first idea we had was to reiterate the voting out of two people at the previous night. Basically, this mob that wanted to vote out the established, knob slobbers, the evil circle jerk. The mob that wanted to vote them out actually approached them the night before and wanted to vote them out then, had a majority, voted, they all raised their hands and said, you guys are out of the group. And the people voted out, looked up and said, no, we have systems in place to prevent all this. You can't vote out anything. And these are occupiers, all of them. The ones that were alienated, the ones that show up to their own fucking circle jerks all the time. They're all occupiers. All of them. But one set has decided that they're going to camp that Facebook page. The only fucking claim they have to fucking power. They're not letting it go. And they're just going to stink up the place like a fucking dead rat in a vacuum that you can't find and can't figure out where the fuck it is. But you know it's somewhere in your fucking room. That's what they fucking smell like. So this right here, this was the suggestion to reiterate that those people were voted out. Next suggestion that we were going to say, but these never happened. These were just things that we were thinking we might want to suggest. This was a vote that all previous GA decisions are null and void, to give us a fresh start and to keep people from using the same rules to control us. This actually did come up because they asked me what do I think would change everything. I said, well, all the fucking policies that they've put in place, they need to be dissolved. Start anew. Now, one of those fucktards decided to say that I was saying that we needed to dissolve Occupy altogether. Because he wants to paint it that way. And he wrote as much on his blog. But you guys can watch the 2-hour video and see what I fucking said. But, yeah. If 4 people get together and make all these rules that say that they're in control of everything, and anyone who new who comes along, or anyone old who wants to come back and say that they're doing wrong, has to bow down and fucking wait until they say that they can vote, and they're probably not going to say that they can vote until they agree with them, then that's fucked up. So, that was one of the proposals I and Ryan had thought up. Next one. I propose we vote that no person who is an admin of the website or the Facebook page be allowed to vote from now on for separation of powers. Those positions shall now be considered titles without a vote because their position gives them too much power. Now, see, as an owner of one of the Occupy sites, the original one, this would affect me. I would be giving up my own stuff. But, I thought of Washington and his precedent of terms, and how he set a lot of precedents that he didn't have to restrict himself, and other presidents just followed it, And it wasn't just fucking terms. But anyways, I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, it's right. It's the right thing to do. It's not a power grab, it's a power give. It's a power evening, checks and balances. It's a fucking good concept. Here's one for vote to move the GA. It was just a suggestion we would think about, spur of the moment. I don't see why right now, but the crony clusterfuck circle jerk, the evil dictatorship that's in place, they might be fucking particular to another fucking place to meet now that the counter-protest to them by the military occupiers has grown bigger than them. This one is a vote of no confidence on one of the occupier, circle jerk, evil triumvirate people that was not named in the previous night. They actually only talked about the 2 that they saw there on the previous night, and it was just to complete the overthrowing of the evil dictatorship. This one is a vote of appreciation for all of the soldiers in the armed forces for all of their hard work and dedication. This was actually my fuck you to all of the anti-soldier protesters who like to say that they're baby killers, they're all white trash thugs that piss on dead bodies. The ones that suggested that they go burn Bibles out in front of Fort Carson. This one is a vote of condemnation for any insults hurled at veterans by members of OCS, whether an OCS function or not. Which means, if they go off and do a blog that it's not under the OCS name, which is the case right now, that they would be chastised for being a member of OCS and going off and doing other things to hurt soldiers. Which they do. This one is, we vote against any OCS member copyrighting any OCS member's images from now on, and all photos and recordings shall be considered Creative Commons. Even though I have a whole fuck ton of fucking videos on my channel, and that would, again, be me giving up some sort of power over my videos. Something happened recently where someone's photo became very valuable, and that photo ended up with a little copyright on it, and all other photos of this person seemed to disappear from public sites, and the only source that you could get it from was one of the websites run by one of the members of the evil clusterfuck. So, yeah. We were miffed. This is a vote of condemnation for that website which had that copyrighted image on it. Let's see. This one is vote that reporting police violations against occupiers or Occupy members or OCS is not snitching, rather it is self-defense. Now, this is actually about me. On a website I was portrayed as a snitch because you guys could have seen this previously on my channel. I said to City Council that the CSPD had overcharged for overtime that they did not work, and I showed video evidence of it. And I told them that I was going to the FBI right thereafter, and I did. I also reported it to the IRS. So the reason why I did this is because it was smearing the name of Occupy for them to claim that, because there was protesters there, they had to spend more money on officers, and then those officers aren't even there. It was smearing the name of Occupy to say that that was a requirement because the protesters were there. I was defending Occupy when I did that. And the person that tried to paint me as a snitch for that, I guess he would rather me just let the city paint Occupy in whatever light they want to and not be called on their lies. Let the police officers claim that occupiers did anything, and if I have video evidence to the contrary, he would rather nobody talk to any FBI or police or city council or anything. Don't work with government is the rule of thumb. If you were to see his website, you would see that he's got a whole bunch of anti-FBI things, and it's just wow. It's almost like it's as crazy as most of the post-apocalyptic stockpilers that you would ever see. It's like they're waiting for the collapse of society, and we're going to have like the fucking Planet of the Apes scenario, Next suggestion. As it is obvious that Eric and Tony need something, we're going to help them get something because we need to help them to get that help that they need. And I will leave it at that because I'm not trying to slander anyone in a video. This one says, okay, this one, it's half joking, okay? I'm only half joking here, but prior to every meeting, I propose that every person shake hands with every other person. It's actually a nod to the Catholic Church from me. I made that suggestion. It's like the whole peace be with you, Follow up to that one. I propose we end every meeting with a group hug. I know it's silly and granola, but these are silly granola people, and they can handle a group hug instead of, what happened in the fucking video. Here's one. I propose, rather than yelling at what we see as the establishment or dragging things out, we do a simple vote first. Now, that would be really fucking impossible to come and not share your reasons and just vote it and not have the drama happen when you can't even fucking vote. Next one. I propose Occupy is neither a right or left movement. That one is because a whole bunch of people were censored on a whole bunch of Occupy sites for talking about political candidates. I personally believe it should be talked about, no matter what the candidate or who. But some people tend to think that the Tea Party was right and Occupy is left. And it's obvious, isn't it? It's obvious. Even though, I heard from day one that you're not supposed to be co-opted by either side. And I think it's the leftist people who are saying, well, the right had their movement, why can't we have ours? Of course, we've been waiting for fucking decades. We've been so lonely with our signs, and of course they're here for us. Of course. No, they're fucking not. And you don't fucking own them. So, next proposal. I propose that Facebook administrators cannot be website administrators. Another separation of powers proposal. Now, you know what's funny about that one though? With the number of people that they have left because of their magnetic personalities, there's no way that they could separate the powers like that because, pretty soon they're going to be down to one guy doing fucking everything. I propose that we occupy the word family so people can't misuse it. And this is a nod to our neighbors, Focus on the Family, who, they use the word family as if it translates to war on gays. And we see a whole bunch of different organizations use the word family in them. And I was like, well, why not start a little Occupy Family website or group and just insert all sorts of diversity into the word family, That'd be an awesome thing to do. And piss off bigoted people to boot. But none of these proposals that I just put before all of you viewers, none of these will ever come to fruition, be they good or bad, because this is not what democracy looks like. This is what disenfranchisement looks like.